What loophole did you find that changed everything? The university's guest policy was basically a cruel joke. You only got 3 overnight stays per month and that was it. No exceptions. If you went over even once, they could kick you out of student housing. For me and my girlfriend Rachel, who got stuck in a different dorm because of some random assignment, it felt like we were being punished for dating. Like we were criminals trying to sneak time together instead of just a couple trying to survive freshman year. 3 nights a month didn't feel like a relationship. It felt like we were negotiating with a prison warden. And unfortunately, our RA Mark kind of acted like one. He took everything way too seriously, doing 6 a.m. room checks with a flashlight like he was part of a SWAT team, writing down violations in this creepy leather notebook like he was building a case against us. And when he caught Rachel leaving my room for the 3rd time in November, he smiled while writing me up and said one more and I should start apartment hunting. That night I couldn't sleep and I just kept thinking there had to be something we missed. So I opened up the full 42-page housing contract and read the whole thing. I went through the whole thing line by line, and somewhere deep in section 14.3 between fire safety rules and quiet hours, I found it. The line that saved us. It said, for the purpose of overnight restrictions, a guest is defined as anyone not currently enrolled as a full-time student at this university. And Rachel wasn't just enrolled, she lived 3 buildings away, which meant by their own rules, she wasn't even a guest. So I went for it. The next week, Rachel stayed over 4 nights in a row. I made sure Mark saw her every single morning. By Friday, he was practically shaking with excitement when he stopped us in the hallway. He said 4 overnights in 7 days. Housing board meets Monday. Better start packing. I just smiled and waited for him to finish writing before I pulled out the contract from my pocket with section 14.3 highlighted in bright yellow. I said, actually, you haven't logged any violations because Rachel's a student, and by your own definition, she doesn't count as a guest. And the man literally snapped his pen in his hand. Within 2 days, housing sent out this emergency email trying to clarify the rule, saying that now all non-residents, even other students, would count as guests. But that just made it worse for them, because the contract had another clause that said no policy affecting resident privileges could be changed mid-semester without unanimous approval from a committee that hadn't met since 2019. So I walked into the housing director's office with a printed copy of their email and the original contract. She stared at them like they were radioactive. Finally, she looked up and said, "You do realize we could evict you for literally anything else now." And I just slid over another highlighted section that said retaliatory enforcement after policy disputes was grounds for a formal grievance. That pretty much ended that conversation. By spring semester, they had rewritten the guest policy 6 different times. They tried banning frequent visitors, then recurring overnight presences, then made the language even weirder, but none of it stuck. Rachel and I just kept taking advantage of the loophole until Mark started twitching every time he saw us in the hallway. Eventually, housing tried to bribe me with a private room in the honors dorm if I would just voluntarily sign a new contract. I refused. Then they offered best meal plan upgrades. I still refused. By the end of the year, the director handed me next year's contract personally. The guest policy was now 3 full pages long with footnotes. There was a sticky note on the front that just said, "Please stop reading every line." Rachel and I finally got rooms in the same building. No restrictions, no drama, and Mark quietly transferred to another dorm. Housing ended up hiring an actual law student just to rewrite their entire contract from scratch.